Have you ever felt like you're walking through a valley of dry bones, a place where dreams and hopes seem to lie lifeless and forgotten? Each one of us at some point in our lives has encountered this metaphorical valley. It's a place where fear and concern, those universal human experiences, seem to overshadow every glimmer of hope. It's a feeling that can grip you, making you feel as though you're in a desolate landscape filled with nothing but the remnants of what once was. You might feel as if you're surrounded by the skeletal remains of your aspirations, each one a stark reminder of a hope that now seems unattainable. But even in this place of despair, there is a beacon of hope. A story as old as time itself, yet as relevant as the very air we breathe. In the ancient scriptures, there's a tale of such a valley, and a man named Ezekiel who walked through it. Ezekiel, a prophet, was taken in a vision to a valley filled with dry bones. This was a sight that could chill the bones of the bravest among us. A valley, not of life and vitality, but of death and decay, a stark symbol of desolation and despair. Ezekiel, a man of God, found himself in this desolate scene, not by chance, but led there by the divine hand. And what a sight it must have been, the valley stretching far and wide, littered with the remnants of what once was life. Yet, amidst this scene of desolation, there was an underlying message of hope and renewal. In this vision, Ezekiel was not a mere passive observer. He was given a task, a divine directive. He was instructed to prophesy over these dry bones. Now, this wasn't your everyday prophecy. He was to promise these bones life, to tell them that they would live again. Imagine the audacity of this command, to speak life into what was clearly and undeniably dead. But Ezekiel, a man of faith, did not falter. With a voice filled with divine authority, he spoke to the bones. He prophesied as he was commanded, promising life to the lifeless. He declared that God would cause breath to enter into these bones, that they would come alive with flesh covering them, and that they would stand on their feet, an exceedingly great army. And as he spoke, something extraordinary happened. There was a sound, a rattling sound, echoing through the valley. The bones started moving, coming together, bone to bone, sinew to sinew, flesh to flesh. Before his eyes, the impossible was happening. The dry, lifeless bones were coming alive just as he had prophesied. And as Ezekiel spoke, there was a rattling sound, and the bones came together, clothed in flesh, alive once more. This was not just a resurrection of bones, but a demonstration of the power of faith and the limitless possibilities when we align ourselves with the divine will. You might be wondering, what does this ancient tale have to do with me? Well, let's delve into that. Picture the valley of dry bones, an image of desolation and despair, but isn't it also a reflection of those moments in our lives when we feel drained, lost, or scared? Those times when everything seems bleak and hope seems as distant as a forgotten dream? Yes, we've all been there. These valleys in our lives, they're not just physical or emotional low points. They're the trials and tribulations that test our mettle, the challenges that call on us to rise, the moments of despair that demand our courage. They're the times when we feel like we're surrounded by dry bones, and all hope seems lost. But it's in these valleys, in the midst of these dry bones, that we find our true strength. Just like Ezekiel, we too have the power to speak life into our situations. We can choose to see the valley not as a place of death, but as a place of potential, a place of growth, a place of rebirth. We can choose to see the dry bones not as symbols of despair, but as opportunities for transformation. Remember, the valley of dry bones wasn't a graveyard, it was a nursery, a place where new life was waiting to be spoken into existence. And like Ezekiel, we too can speak life into our valleys. We can breathe hope into our fears, courage into our doubts, faith into our uncertainties. So the next time you find yourself in a valley, remember Ezekiel, remember his faith, his courage, his vision. Speak life into your valley, speak hope, speak courage, speak faith. Stir the dry bones of your dreams, your aspirations, your potential, and watch as they rise, as they come together, as they take on flesh and form and life. Just as Ezekiel's words breathed life into the bones, so can your words and actions breathe life into your dreams. And in doing so, you'll find that your valley, once a place of despair, is transformed into a place of hope, a place of growth, a place of rebirth. Now that's the power of faith. But it's not just about speaking, it's about believing. Faith, as we discover in the remarkable story of Ezekiel, is an essential part of our lives. It's an enduring force, a beacon of light in the darkest valleys we traverse. Ezekiel, despite standing in a valley of dry bones, held steadfast in his faith. He chose to believe in the power of God and the resurrection of hope, even when all physical evidence suggested otherwise. Faith is not merely an abstract concept. It's a transformative power that can turn the impossible into the possible. It's the force that can move mountains, part seas, and yes, even resurrect dry bones. When we place our trust in a higher power, we open ourselves to the realm of infinite possibilities. We allow ourselves to dream beyond the constraints of our current circumstances and embrace the potential for change. In the context of our lives, faith represents our belief in our abilities and the certainty of our potential. It's the unwavering conviction that we hold the power to shape our destiny, regardless of the challenges we face. Just like Ezekiel, we too can breathe life into our own dry bones, our dreams, our aspirations, our goals. Imagine if we all embraced the power of faith. What could we achieve? How high could we soar? How deep could we dive? The answers to these questions, my friends, lie within us. They are waiting to be discovered, waiting to be unearthed through the power of our faith. Remember, faith is not a passive state of mind, it's an active process. It requires us to believe, to hope, and to act. It encourages us to step out of our comfort zones and take risks. It motivates us to strive for our dreams, no matter how lofty they may seem. So, let's ignite the spark of faith within us. Let's dare to dream, dare to believe, and dare to act. For it is in this daring that we will find our true potential, our true selves. Your faith, your belief in the possibility of change is the breath that can bring your dry bones to life. So, if you're walking through your own valley of dry bones, remember Ezekiel. Remember his courage, his faith, and his unwavering belief in the power of words infused with faith. As we journey through this life, we often find ourselves in our own proverbial valleys. Valleys that appear barren, desolate, and void of hope. Just as Ezekiel stood in a valley of dry bones, we too might find ourselves in situations that seem beyond redemption. But let's not forget the key lesson from Ezekiel's story. It wasn't the valley that defined him, but his faith in the power of divine intervention, his faith in the transformative power of words, spoken in faith. And this is the power that we all possess. The power to speak life into our situations, to bring hope where there seems to be none, to breathe life into our own valleys of dry bones. In our journey so far, we've delved into the story of Ezekiel and the valley of dry bones. We've explored the metaphorical valleys in our own lives and the power of faith to transform these valleys. We've discovered the importance of speaking life into our situations, of using our words as tools for transformation. With these insights, we can begin to apply these lessons to our own lives. Just as Ezekiel did, we too can stand in our valleys no matter how desolate and speak life into our situations. We can use our words to manifest change, to bring about transformation, to breathe life into our own dry bones. The works of faith are not just about believing, but also about speaking, about using our words to shape our reality. Remember, faith isn't just about passively waiting for change, it's about actively speaking that change into existence. Life may lead you to a valley of dry bones, but it's your faith in words that can bring those bones to life. Remember, this is the works of faith. And so, as we journey through our own valleys, let's remember Ezekiel. Let's remember the power of faith. And most importantly, let's remember the transformative power of our words.